Good morning, Jeffco. This is Shauna Fritzler from Jeffco PTA, and we are getting ready to talk about officer resources and how to find what you need. I have some other people joining me on this particular training that I think you will absolutely love. The first one is Mike Elder. He's our Articulation Area Vice President mentor. So he trains our Articulation Area Vice Presidents and supports them so that we can have all of these wonderful people who serve you individually. And then I also want to acknowledge, so Mike, go ahead and speak up if you would real quick so everybody sees you.
Hi there, welcome. I'm anxious to tell you all this good information and tell you how we can help you.
And I want to introduce Amy Sapphire. So she was our yogi this morning, but she is here today as one of our articulation area vice presidents. She's stellar. You will love her. We have some other articulation area vice presidents on this call as well, but Amy and then Tina. Tina is also presenting with us today. So she's another one of our wonderful stellar articulation area vice presidents. We have an amazing team with us. I love these people so very much. They are such a strong, wonderful team. They are current parents. They are current, and have been PTA leaders in the past. So they've seen it, anything that you're dealing with, and they have access to everything. Amy, would you just speak up real quickly so everybody can see your picture?
Hello.
Wonderful. And Tina, would you please speak up real quickly so everybody could see you?
You're muted. There you go.
The Zoom thing, right?
Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. Hi.
Thank you. Thanks for jumping in. So again, this is officer resources and how to find what you need. A lot of people haven't really checked the website, so they're not quite sure exactly what all's out there. Joining PTA, being a PTA leader is, again, one of those things. What did I get myself into? With PTA, it's pretty special. You signed up for PTA. Now what? Oh my gosh, there's so much on your plate. You may be overwhelmed. This is a network, and there is never any reason to recreate the wheel. We want to set you at ease. If you have any issues, if you ever need anything, if you have questions, we are always here for you. And I will say that this group is so very responsive. Don't recreate the wheel, just reach out to us. So we're not the PTA police. We are here again to be your best friends and to help you with everything. We're here to take care of you. That's what we do. So the Lorax, so everybody always talks about that one, the one quote, the most popular one, which is the, nothing will get better. So if someone doesn't, take care of it, so it should be you. But this one really is the Lorax with Dr. Seuss. I speak for the trees. The trees have no tongues. Who speaks for our children? PTA began speaking out on behalf of children over 120 years ago. And we are so very excited to be a part of this organization. I know the people on my board and the people who have been around for a while, we are so proud of the mission of PTA, and it's something that we can all very much get together with. Alice Burney is one of the founders. We have that over a century of commitment, and they have done these amazing, amazing things for PTA. And you're going to learn a few things about what actually happened and how PTA actually got started. So, whoops, I'm sorry. Amy, I'm going to go ahead and have you.
No, it's me.
Amy, go right ahead, please.
Oh.
Over a century of commitment. Our appeal is to all mankind and womankind, regardless of color, creed, or condition, to recognize that in the child lies the hope of the race and that the Republic's greatest work is to save the children. Let mothers, fathers, nurses, teachers, ministers, legislators, and, mightiest of all, in its swift, far-reaching influence, the press, make the child the watchword and the ward of the day and hour, and let all else be secondary, and we will behold a new something and a new people. Sorry. The logo blocked it out.
Right, so we've got our little videos and stuff. Google changed my things when I uploaded a little bit. Now, Tina's going to talk to us a little bit about who we are in PTA.
Okay, so our vision in PTA is that every child's potential is a reality, and our mission is to make every child's potential a reality by engaging and empowering families and communities to advocate for all children. Personally, last year was my first year at the fall conference, which was incredibly inspiring. And of course, I met Shauna, and it was like we knew each other our whole lives. I think she feels that way with everybody, but sometimes, you know, she makes everybody feel special. So I have in PTA, my Jeffco PTA in particular, they are friends and they are family, and they will be there for you whenever you need it. So for that, I'm incredibly grateful. And when you are a part of your PTA, you're part of your child's school, and you definitely have more of a pulse on what's going on. So I just want to encourage everybody to stay engaged, especially this year when it's extra challenging.
And all of you are gifts. I'm glad you feel that way, Tina. So all of you are gifts to Jeffco PTA and to all of Jefferson County. So you're wonderful, and you all fulfill the mission. Mike, talk to us.
Yeah, so this is what we're all about. Our children are our future. You know, research has made it real clear that it's positive and convincing relationship between parent and family involvement. And the success your child has, or children have in the school and for later on in life, meeting the needs for both of all their future, whether it's continuing an education or joining the workforce or being a mom, being a dad, being whatever. It's these days, the future is kind of front and center in our lives, isn't it? Pandemic times make us really, really worried about what it's going to be. I'm actually, my point of view is that I'm encouraged by the future because of my daughter. And I hope our children, we all see that our future will be great because of our children. And what we're doing right now is to lay the foundation for theirs.
And advocacy, I want you, Mike, to talk about this as well.
Yeah. So do you remember your child's first day of school? I do. Mine was, I have a picture of her in her first day of school, and actually her graduation in the side-by-side frames on my desk. So did they go to kindergarten? Mine did, yeah. Did they ride the bus? Did they eat lunch at school? Did they play on the playground that day? Gave the teacher a break. Did they read a book from the library? Did they have all their immunizations? There's so many memories of that first day of school. And it's the first step in starting that foundation of how your child views their future and why education and school is important. By the way, do you remember your own first day at school? That's, I do. And I met, my first day of school, I met one of the best friends I've ever had in my life, and still one of my friends. So you have to really understand that this is important. And advocacy is about a lot of things. It's being interested and involved and knowing what's going on and having a say or an input, you know, raising a concern. And by the way, we often raise issues with our schools, but how often do we take the time to offer a compliment or an issue of gratitude? All that's advocacy. How you contribute to your school. How do you PTA? You advocate.
Beautiful. And Tina and Amy are going to go over a few of the accomplishments actually of PTA. This is why we PTA.
Let me just go over the national milestones. Child labor laws, U.S. Public Health Service, hot lunch programs, the juvenile justice system, mandatory immunization, TV content ratings, parent involvement provisions in No Child Left Behind or the Elementary Secondary Education Act.
For Colorado milestones, I'm going to skip Amendment 23 here because I'm going to go back to that one. So I'm going to start with the school trust lands, the school crossing guard, liability immunity, parent involvement legislation. So Amendment 23, pardon me, I'm going to read off my phone here. And if you don't know what that is, Amendment 23 was a constitutional change passed in 2000 to reverse a decade of budget cuts experienced by Colorado school districts through the 90s. During that decade, Colorado's education spending did not keep pace with the inflation rate. That is still true. And so my very first Jeffco PTA conference was in 2018 as I was going in to be a president. And one of the workshops I did was with the fabulous Lisa Weil of Great Education Colorado. And she was promoting at the time Initiative 93, which became Amendment 73, rest in peace. And I came back an advocate. I had petitions to sign. I went to a yoga retreat a week later, and I was talking about this initiative in Hot Springs with people I had never met before. I was asking them which counties they were from because I wanted their signature. I ended up going to the spring carnival at my school and paying $10 to rent a table, which I brought myself, by the way. I brought my own folding table and 4 folding chairs to set up petitions and basically harass people to get their names on my petitions. I ended up collecting, I think, 240 signatures, and that lit the fire in me. I have a great advocacy chair at my school, which is Divinity Elementary, and I just started setting up tables at school conferences and getting people to vote. I got a little criticized by the previous administration who told me I made PTA too political. And you know what? Too bad. That was my thing. So I encourage you to find your thing. And that was it for me. Like Shauna said, we cannot, or she said it in the last conference anyway, we cannot advocate for specific candidates, but we can push our agenda on ballot initiatives. And I mean, sometimes, so last year we had 5A and 5B. 5B did not pass on election night. We were in a PTA meeting when 5B went from 49.96% no to 48.98% no. And by curing ballots and just talking to people and getting the vote out, we ended up tipping it over so that 5B passed. And that was what, 56, was it $56 million toward our Jeffco public schools. So be that voice, get out there and talk about what people should be voting for or against in this case. There's a lot on the ballot this year, what to vote against. So be political, do it. Thank you.
Yep, we're advocates. That's exactly what it was. So, and I'm actually a little teary. So, thank you. So, and you know, it was $567 million. So for facilities, new buildings that lots of our schools desperately need. So, thank you for bringing that up, and thank you so much for talking about the difference that PTA makes. So this is what, just some of the accomplishments for PTA. And you do, you create some amazing accomplishments at your local units, at your schools as well. And you need to be proud of those. Just imagine what we will do together next. And that's why we're PTA, we have a network, and we need to be together. National Standards for Family School Partnerships, PTA put this together. And this, I will tell you, there's districts across the country using our resources that we developed. So, and we all paid for it, with our membership as well. I was grateful and blessed to be able to work for National PTA. And actually the states that I worked with, I went around doing some of this work, teaching them about these national standards and how to really engage in advocacy by using these. You can actually request presentations from us at Jeffco PTA too, to really talk about these family school partnerships. What does it really look like? So what's sharing power? So do you really have a voice, or are you going to meetings where you're just getting information? We already have the research to know that children benefit by their parents being involved. The kids whose parents are most involved do the best in schools. We know this, we have the research. So you're taking the first step to being involved here. So, and advocating, getting the rest of your community together. So now we're in this weird place with the pandemic, but really test scores are higher, grades are higher. Everything is so very different during a pandemic, but with parental engagement, if we can support that, if we can use our PTAs to encompass so what it looks like during a pandemic, just imagine what we can do for children who are not biologically ours. So PTA is about every child, and I really want to make sure that everybody understands this. We know that's what the research shows. Engaged parents are the number one indicator of successful students. They have a minds in Mike's going to talk to you here momentarily on the benefits of PTA affiliation. But my daughter's a junior. Mike's daughter is already graduated and is actually a teacher now. But he will tell you a little bit more too about his experience with that and the benefits of getting involved with your kids, especially starting from an early age. And just because your kids are in middle school or high school, when they may be at the point where they push you away, don't. Stay involved. Stay involved all the way through, please. Mike, kick it off.
Yeah, and my daughter is a seventh grade social studies teacher in Jeffco. She's a Jeffco grad, and I started in PTA when she was in elementary school, just to to be informed and know what was going on. And then I became PTA president there, and I've gone on to do other things both at Jeffco PTA, and now I'm back at Jeffco PTA, and I went and worked with the Colorado PTA. But PTA and your involvement, will change from the time that your kids are in grade school to middle school and to high school. I mean, they're going to want to see a lesson. High school, you're not going to be in the classroom. It would kill your kid if you were coming in with cupcakes to the classroom. So it evolves. But the real key, and what I got back multiple times from my daughter, was that she appreciated me being around and being interested. And that's really, really, really important to let your kid know that. And the parental involvement leads to student success. It's just not debatable. Okay. So what's the benefit of the PTA affiliation? I mean, parents saw the need to help children and give a voice or be a voice for them, and provide opportunities for enhancing and strengthening their parental involvement, family involvement, and support the support training, resources, programs, and the ability to connect with other child-centered organizations. There are a lot of great organizations that share some of the same goals that PTAs do, like Great Education Colorado. So we are affiliated with those. So it's important to connect with your community and your child, and be there for your school. We've had over 120 years of experience at PTA. We've organized and reorganized and continue to organize and evolve and change and adapt to what happens. And here in the pandemic, look at the adapting we're doing. And PTA is challenged to adapt in this time because we can't all go into that classroom. So we have to find other ways. And ongoing training is another thing that's a benefit. You're participating in that right now. But there's a ton of training available. It should never be, I didn't know what I was supposed to do in my role as X, because there's a lot of information out there, a lot of training. We help develop leadership. Hi, you're attending. We're developing leaders. Resources, I'm going to talk a little bit about them in a minute, but we have access to experts and support personnel, contacts. I mean, we do everything from school safety to mental health. Just look at the Jeffco PTA website, and you'll see the kind of things, the kind of programs that we present. We have events like this training. Shauna does suicide prevention. We have our board meeting, which is open to everybody later this week. We're going to have Jeffco Public Library in talking. We've had other meetings where we've had, election forums. That will be at the next board meeting. So go out to that website and really look and see what's there. Make yourself familiar with what's there. There's events, like I said, advocacy. Go out there and see the positions that Jeffco PTA has taken on all of the ballot issues. And my personal warning to you is that there's some ballot issues out there that are going to take money away from your kids if they pass. And we're in a time, I don't think you can argue that schools need more money, not less. And by the way, those ballot issues are going to take money away from your roads, and your public health, and a lot of things else that that are woefully underfunded besides just education. But we're focused on education, and we need more money, not less, okay, for our kids. So there's also resources on the website for things like cyberbullying and COVID information. There's another whole section out there about running your PTA. Again, that's probably why you're here today. Go out there and look. You'll see things about how to conduct a financial review, local PTA unit handbook, what kind of records you need to maintain. It's just, I could talk the rest of the time just on what's out there on the website. Go out and get yourself familiarized. Whatever you need, it's there. And if it's not there, we have resources like the AAVPs, which I help coordinate. Wonderful group resource to each of you. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about them a little bit later in this presentation. Next.
Amy, go right ahead and talk to us about this.
Okay, so the and more we're talking about is programs at the state and national levels, recognition at state and national levels, business partnerships, members and unit benefits and discounts, bylaws, parliamentary guidance, IRS 501c3 regulation information, that's nonprofits, low cost insurance, grants, and awards. And we have a lot more. One of the things that we do, and this is wonderful, we have a Reflections Cultural Arts program. I don't know if your school participates in this. Mine always has, and I absolutely love it. There is a theme every year. There are categories. You can do a visual art. Kids create sculptures. We had somebody win at our school last year who did like a break dance. He rapped for us. There's dance, there's photography. They break it down into like a lower primary and an upper primary level at the elementary schools. It is a really neat thing. There's awards, and we do an open house at our school. I run the talent show at my school, and I asked my musicians to come and like play their guitars and their ukuleles and their pianos during our assemblies. And it's all the things I love wrapped into one. So if you don't know about Reflections, please ask. That is so incredible. We also do things like we have awards, we have specials in stores and restaurants through our partnerships, help with bylaws, accountability, discount insurance, and media attention. As Shauna knows, Shauna goes on the air and introduced herself as a mom, which I absolutely love. She doesn't throw her title around. She goes in front of the school board and she says, "Hi, I'm Shauna, I'm a mom." But we do have media attention out there. So get yourself in front of the media and advocate for your school.
Beautiful. Tina, talk to us about this.
All right, and I'm going to read off my notes just because it's easier for me. So Jeffco PTA has established a series of programs specifically designed for our PTA units and members. The presentations are presented in 45 to 60-minute timeframes and are suitable for board or association meetings. And all you have to do is email Shauna at president@jeffcopta.org. If you want us to do a presentation for you, Shauna's always open and willing to do that as well. We often, in the past, and I'm not sure how we're doing it now, but I'm sure Shauna will figure it out. We have town halls, board meetings, and events that are open to everyone. So consider, one thing I want to really encourage, as this month is Suicide Prevention Month, is to encourage you to take suicide prevention. Yeah, I just can't emphasize that enough. So, and during the pandemic, your PTA may send your memberships our programs in lieu of having a PTA meeting, because it's just going to be harder potentially to gather or do your Zooms. So you can always send them our way. So some of the things listed here is our fall training, and there's one-on-one training, reflections, like Amy was just talking about, scholarships to convention, audit and IRS support, local resources, reminders from people like me and AAVP to our units, special programs, mediation services, crisis management, and family resources. There really is everything.
Beautiful. We do have everything. Tina, thank you for mentioning those suicide prevention trainings. If you've read the newsletter, you've noticed too, for your own individual PTA community, I am more than happy. I'm a certified trainer, more than happy to do those trainings for your PTA. All you have to do is contact me. But we have a ton of programs. We have these amazing leaders with Jeffco PTA who are happy to come and do this with you. Amy, will you talk to us a little bit about membership, please?
Indeed. So PTA membership is for everyone. Parents, teachers, students, administrators, volunteers, grandparents, guardians, aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, community members, and business owners, anyone who cares about children and supports the mission of PTA. So we encourage our community members to be part of the PTA. We have at our school one year, we had kids just knock on the doors and introduce themselves to people around the neighborhood. We let our neighbors know that we were putting in a new playground. There was going to be a lot of construction, and we encouraged them to come and use it with their kids or their grandkids, even if they didn't attend the school. That was fine during non-school hours. Come and enjoy this on the weekends. Many of our board members don't even have kids in public schools anymore. I mean, I know how much time Jonna Levine spends at the Capitol building, and her daughter's in her 20s. You know, and these people still come back year after year to be part of this. So having community members broadens the perspective and brings more resources to the school. It allows community members to just gain access and information to the current issues. Invite them to your meetings. They're voters, you know. And the PTA is open to anyone who supports the mission and purpose of the PTA. The PTA and PTSA are the same. PTSA, S for student, highlights the importance of student participation. We didn't really do that too much at Divinity Elementary. We had kids show up and ask us for money if they needed it, but we basically had a room off to the side where, you know, they were in daycare while the adults spoke. And then that was just something that I didn't change in my time there. But, you know, having the students involved is awesome. And oh, one other little tip here, and you might hear this from Jen in a membership training. So one of the things we did at our school, it was a $10 flat rate for membership dues. We changed it to $15 for a single membership, or 2 for $20, and everybody for $5 added their husband or their wife or their mother or their sister. Our membership went up 20% just by doing that. And we have about 33% men because of that, because most, you know, it's a lot of women. It's a lot of women who sign up, and they all added their husband for $5, and membership numbers went up, the outreach went up, we got more email addresses. So just a little tip for you. So add your mom.
And, you know, that's really important that you mentioned that. It is more important than ever that fathers, you know, your voices are very, very important to have as part of this conversation. We need to tell the fathers. So generally speaking, if you tell them, they will join you. So you just have to tell them. You know, Mike's a really good example. And so Heidi's asking in the chat here too, if there's a set membership fee for PTA. There is for every PTA in your bylaws. So your bylaws designate what your membership fee is. The vast majority of PTAs in Jefferson County is a $10 membership fee. For Jeffco PTA, it's an $11 membership fee. Some have lowered it to the bare minimum, which is $6.25, and a portion of those dues go to Colorado and national. So and that's what helps us pay for programs like Member Hub or any of those kind of things. So you have to set that in your bylaws, and you have to determine if that's going to change and have those conversations with your membership. We actually just reduced, Heidi, this is an interesting one, at our high school this last year. So because they had raised it, it was like something like $25 per person. So we lowered it down to be $10 per person so that it was more accessible to anyone. So think about your community, think about what works in your community. It's about getting all those voices in there. And you can also think about working with businesses in your community to sponsor memberships, maybe for families who can't afford it. I always offer that to my Jeffco PTA board. So any of you future leaders out there who maybe are thinking, wow, I might want to join the Jeffco PTA board, you know, because it is pretty cool. All you have to do is let me know if you can't afford our membership, and I make sure that it's taken care of. So because financial restraints will never be a barrier to joining Jeffco PTA as long as I'm here. So, and as long as these wonderful future leaders are here as well. So, Amy, too, talking to us a little bit about what our children deserve.
Start with the best education, the best health, the best protection, the best environment, the chance to dream, believe in themselves, and succeed. So you are their voice. You are their advocate. You are raising money on their behalf. And if you're spending that money on them to have a donut with their father figure, or if you're spending that money so they can take home a Chromebook in case of a pandemic, who knew? You're there, and that's your job. And it is so gratifying.
Beautiful.
So thank you for doing it.
Angela's asking a quick question here too. So if they're a member of a local unit, is Jeffco PTA membership included, or do we need to join separately? So here's how everything's structured. If you join at your school, you're automatically a member of Jeffco PTA to an extent. So because it's a chartered umbrella and Colorado PTA and national PTA, you get benefits for being that PTA member at your local unit. Now, let's say I have a kiddo at Tina's school, Kiffin, and I have my daughter at Lakewood High School. If I want to participate in the PTAs, I actually need to join both of those PTAs because I want to be able to vote and participate in it. So if you want to participate in Jeffco PTA and participate in our votes outside of general membership that are board votes, then you would join Jeffco PTA to do that. So like all of our AAVPs, everybody who's on the board of Jeffco PTA is a member. And then we have a number of community members also throughout. Some are parents, some aren't. I'll tell you things like nearly every legislator in Jeffco is a member of Jeffco PTA because of what we do. And we are advocates. So, you know, think about everybody throughout the community. Maybe there's a church across the street, you know, I mean, they can volunteer for you, but they can join your PTA as well. And most people, generally speaking, you know, when you look at the mission of PTA, most people agree that this is exactly what they want for all children. So PTA is pretty strong in what we do, and we always have reasoning behind what we do as well. Tina, please take it away with this.
Okay. So we must work to make the world worthy of its children. That is, yeah, that's now more than ever. Ultimately, as parents, teachers, and community members, it is our job. We are so grateful to all of you for volunteering and staying engaged, and we're here to support your work. And that is 100% the truth.
Yes, this is probably the strongest group I have ever worked with, and I've been doing PTA for a long time. So not as long as Mike, so but a long time. So, and if you really look closely, you can see the gray hairs here. Yeah, there you go. It is probably the strongest group. I encourage everybody to get to our website. You know, we have great social media, you know, of course, going right now too, where we put all of our advocacy items out, you know, different links to our website. We are constantly changing that. We're constantly changing the website. We're constantly sending out communications. Make sure that you've taken care of your officer list so that you are on our emails and getting those communications. We don't just send out fluff. I refuse to do that. It's not a good use of your time or my time. We send out real links. Our AAVPs are sending you real links. And we've tried to change Jeffco PTA this term too, so that we're being an example. And this was even before the pandemic, because everybody who comes to PTA meetings are supposed to be doing their roles if they're officers or committee chairs. And there was a little frustration, you know, with various PTA members about, hey, nobody comes to our meetings. Well, if your meeting happens to be about the fall carnival, and I don't want to volunteer for the fall carnival, that's really a committee meeting, and that committee meeting should be happening at the Fall Carnival Committee meeting rather than in front of your PTA meetings. Your PTA meeting should have a program. You can go and look at some of our recordings. I've left them under events from previous meetings that we've had. We complete our business in 15, 20 minutes, and then we move on to a program that's beneficial to other people who are attending. And we've had a lot of people throughout the county attend our meetings last year as we moved throughout the county until the pandemic hit us. This year we're all in Zoom, but everyone is invited. So, and I don't even require membership to attend those because they're beneficial to helping your children. This is for children and for families. We want to offer programs that benefit everyone. If I know that I can help my child by going to a PTA meeting, I'm probably going to go. But if I think that it's going to be about the Fall Carnival, I probably am not going to go unless I want to volunteer for that. The key to getting volunteers and getting more people to participate is offering programs that benefit them. When they see the value that your PTA is providing, then they want to be a part of it. Every single one of you, every PTA in Jeffco, I will tell you, is doing something inspirational that your families will want to get behind. If you're not, you can work with us and we can help you develop some of those programs, maybe that support literacy. Maybe it's a program with your instructional coach at your elementary school to talk about what math looks like these days so you can support your child at home when you're doing homework until you get to high school. So, and then just let me tell you, a little miscalculus upstairs here. So I don't help her with that anymore. So, but I do know where to find her resources to take care of it. The majority of that is because of PTA. I found the resources through PTA. Really take a look at the Jeffco PTA website. I need to stress to you just how comprehensive that is. The newsletters, our meetings will never be a waste of your time. I won't allow that. You are welcome to register for any of those. They're always on the website under events. And we want you to be a part of it. We want you to tell your friends. We want you to tell your members. And when you can't find something, when you have, when you're just lost, when you don't know what the form is, or you have a problem in your PTA, your AEVPs are basically set right there to be your best friends. They are this group of amazing, amazing people who are very responsive, very kind. They're fantastic advocates, and they can tell you where to find things on the website. They're always responsive to you. They can also help you if you want to have Jeffco PTA do a program for your PTA meeting. If you want to do suicide prevention for your school, so for your families, and offer that, they can help you set all those things up. So again, these people are here not to be the PTA police, but they are here to be your assets. Mike, I'm going to go ahead and let you talk more about this, all the resources.
Yeah, you're taking some of my points.
Sorry.
So that's fine. The title of this session, the reason you came here, officer resources and how to find what you need. And so this is a list of where that support is. And as Shauna says, and I talked earlier, Jeffco PTA's website is a tremendous resource, and you should really get familiar with it. I'm going to wait and talk a little bit more about the AAVPs because they're very special to me. There's also resources out at the Colorado PTA website, as well as the national website. There's trainings out there too, like officer training as well. Now, these sessions that we're going to do for individual office trainings that later today, those are going to be recorded and they'll be available from Jeffco. But you're going to have to go through your AAVP to get the access because we need to record who's taking the training so we can check off that certification kind of thing. But these are all resources that are important to you. I'd also say another area to find that you should be very familiar with is your own bylaws. A lot of what you need to do and how you need to do it is specified in your bylaws. Okay, and you should be familiar with those before your first PTA meeting. In the last session, it occurred to me, and I raised the item that the PTA insurance guide that comes from AIM is another good resource for support because those are the people that we're going to purchase the insurance that covers liability and bonding and stuff for your PTA. And there's a lot of good information there about how to do what you need to do and what to do and what not to do. So there's the resources are almost endless. But I'm going to go back to my favorite point here, the AAVPs. And my role is the AAVP mentor. And as Shauna said, I've been around for a lot of years. I'm having a wonderful time with my term here on Shauna's board, because I get to work with these exceptional leaders who we have 13 of them on our board, and each of them are assigned to local PTA units like yours. They all have maybe 7 to 9 units. That their role is to be your best friend, to be there to help and support. And by the way, Jeffco PTA exists. Our primary mission is to assist and support you in what you do. And so that's what we're all about. And our ABPs are the point of our spear in doing that. They're going to communicate with you. They're going to be there to answer questions. They're going to be there to remind you. And by the way, you are a legal nonprofit organization, and you have legal requirements and responsibilities that you have to fulfill with both federal and state tax filings. And the ABPs are going to remind you. They can probably, sometimes we get the reputation of being the PTA police, but we're really not there. We're there to help you. We're reminding you need to do that. And if you don't know how to do it, we're there to help you get it done. A lot of times people don't file the IRS form because it's scary. It's not. But even if it is scary to you, we can help you do it. In some cases, we can even do it for you. So every year we find a unit who's struggling meeting all the needs that they have to legally accomplish. And I think last school year, I had 2 or 3 units say, well, we were new and nobody told us what we needed to do. Well, that's not a good excuse. And I'm sorry, you're not paying attention. There's so much out there that tells you how to do what you need to do. And more importantly, maybe the biggest charge to you is to just ask. All you'd have to do is ask. And if your AABP can't help you, the AABP knows where to go. I mean, an example is recently we had a PTA that was looking about wanting some compensation for something that they were doing volunteer-wise. Well, that doesn't make them a volunteer. It makes them an employee. And PTA doesn't do that. Or say you want to do your carnival's chairman, you want to give them an appreciation credit gift card for all the work they did. Well, now you're paying them because the credit card's cash. Those are the kind of things you can't do. And your AABP can help you understand what you can and can't do. And if you have a question, ask. Okay? So you're here to make a difference in the school. You make a great difference, and we can help you with that. We have your back. We're here, and we're Jeffco PTA.
So I will just say thank you. Everything that you're doing is absolutely wonderful. If you need anything at all, so if you have questions, there's no judgment. Every single one of our AAVP team, Mike and I, we're not going to judge you if you come in. If you think that if you're worried that you're going to ask a stupid question, don't worry about it. So we really, really want to answer your questions, and there's no judgment on that at all. So more than anything, just thank you. Thank you for doing what you're doing. And if you need help, if we can have your back, just let us know. So, and that's individual parent situations. If there's a mediation issue, whether it's with another parent at the school or, your board or any of those things, we do all that. And we do that to keep you safe as well as leaders at your school. Now, Jennifer, you had asked a little bit about membership being a challenge this year with the pandemic. And we covered that a little bit in the membership training last week, but and that recording will be available through your AAVP. But some of the things that you're doing, if you're using Member Hub or Chatter Up, or if you can allow people to join online rather than just in person, that's going to be really important for you. Don't think about think about some basic things about writing in chalk on your school. So remember to join PTA. So on the sidewalks, on the sidewalks leading up to the school, you can have a couple of you, even though we can't be there as volunteers inside the school. It doesn't mean that, a couple of you couldn't stand at the beginning of the parking lot and end of the parking lot with a sign and your masks, of course. So, and invite people to join PTA, and remember to send them to your website. Ask your principal, so in their email newsletters, to include your link to join PTA. Ask your teachers to do so as well. And you may even think about, some awards or giveaways that you give to the teacher as the, largest number of PTA members in their classroom. There's lots of different ideas about that. I encourage you to watch the membership video. I encourage you to reach out to us. Again, no judgment. We welcome your questions, and we strive for excellent communication. We try very, very hard to answer all of you within a day or two. We're all parents too, so we're, and community members, and we even have staff members on our board. So it's a strange time right now. There's a lot of work, and I know that a lot of parents right now, especially, and staff members, feel very underwater. If you're struggling with something that's happening with your kid at your school, we help with that. So whether it's a special ed need or twice exceptional services for GT or special ed, IEP, 504, any of those things, please reach out to us. That's what we're here for. We're here to support you. We've always got your back. We won't have any judgment. And I can tell you that my AVP team is the most wonderful, and they are the nicest, kindest people with the biggest hearts. And if you want to join us, and you feel like that fits your ideals and motto as well, holler. So you can always find me at president@jeffcopta.org, or search me on the internet. You'll find me in the Jeffco PTA anywhere. And we do, that's a great example. We do want to know what you're doing at your PTAs. What have you found that really helped kids? What have you found that worked really well? Tell your AEVP so that we can share it with other PTAs, because ultimately we are one team in Jeffco, in Colorado, and in the nation. If you find something that works, share it, because we want to be a team with you. So I thank you for joining us.
Particularly with in pandemic times.
Yes.
If you guys are coming up with innovative things to support your school and be a strong presence as a PTA, every other school around is wanting to know those ideas.
Oh, very much so. Well, thank you for your thanks too, everybody there reading the chat. Thank you. We appreciate you. Feel free to join us for the next session. So I know we'll be seeing a lot more of you. If you are interested in any of this, or if you want to become part of the amazing AAVP team, or anything else on the Jeffco PTA board, have some ideas, let me know. So you know how to get in touch with me. Have a great day. Have a quick little break there, and we will see you hopefully on one of the next sessions. Thanks, and have a great day. Thanks, Amy. Thanks, Tina. And thanks, Mike. I love you all very, very much. And thanks to our other wonderful AAVPs who are also on the call. See you soon.